I was gonna say, have you had anybody who just straight stolen your style?
I mean, all the time. Yeah, that shit happens weekly. You know what I mean? People tag me in shit that people will do. And it's like third eye shit or smiley face shit. You know, I remember Fashion Nova had dropped the whole line and they dropped some third eye smiley shit. And I tried to hit them up. I was actually going to go over one of their billboards they had down in Hollywood. I was going to fucking blast that shit.
That'd have been hard.
But I got a fear of heights, so I'm not doing that shit. That shit was way too high.
Damn.
I actually went there like twice. It's on the second time I was like, all right, I'm going to go up there. But I was like, the billboard was right above like a fence that had the fucking like the spikes and shit.
Oh yeah, so you're like, if I fall backwards,
yeah, I'm like, I'm not risking this shit.
Like
I'm
Final
like,
Destination.
Yeah, I'd rather hit like one of the homeboys to fucking go hit this shit.
Yo, they steal so much.
Yeah, they do.
Sheen, like all those companies, dude, they steal so much from like small artists, small creators, like small clothing lines. Even they'll steal a fucking clothing line design.
There's no way they didn't see my shit, dude. It was a third eye smiley face. Where else you gonna see that shit with drippy, like exactly with my
the red
shit.
Drips
Yeah,
and shit? Yeah,
everything was crazy, and I was like, everybody was tagging me in it. I was like, these motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's cool. I've had a lot of people, you know, try to bite this shit, and maybe, you know, it's possible that motherfuckers just got the same idea. It's possible that they, you know,
you know what it is too is your work's so popular, people will see it and not even care to see like, oh, what is this from? They just see it, and then they're like, oh, we're just gonna replicate this without thinking of you.
Motherfuckers will get inspired and they'll run and do their own shit. I mean, I would have loved to even just, you know, had the conversation of doing a legit collab. It was like, bro, we can make so much more by just doing this legitimately. You know what I mean? But yeah, people bite the shit all the time. And it's funny when Wes hit me up, you know, he immediately responded to the third eye shit. That was what he liked. And he goes, dude, it's the craziest shit, because I had discovered who Wes and Conway was in an article about them signing to Shady. And at the time, you know, I was following a lot of hip hop pages, you know, kind of trying to stay up to date with what was going on. Because I started putting a lot of music out in like 2018 and, you know, writing a lot. And so I was trying to stay up to date, and I saw that article and I looked into their music. I was like, damn, these motherfuckers are dope. Had no idea who they were. I was like, these dudes are, obviously, like, I probably had the same impression as everybody else. Right away I spoke Wu-Tang, but I was like, I thought these dudes were like some old heads that I just never heard of.
Right.
And then fast forward, that was like in June or July of 2017. Fast forward to September, I get a DM from Wes because Hip Hop DX posted my Tupac painting. So he was like, yo, dude, he's like, I fuck with your shit. He was like, you know, I just bought a new crib. I want to acquire some work. He asked what I had. You know, nothing really spoke to him at the time. And he was like, all right, let me think about it. And then he hits me back up like a month or two later. He's like, I'm about to drop an album at the top of 2018, and I want you to do the cover. And I was like, all right, I bet. Like, we could do that. And it was the first time I had ever been, you know, offered to do an album cover, like something legit.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you have in mind? And he goes, I want to do a portrait of Chris Benoit with the third eye. And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, all right, we can run that. So, and I was already building a body of work for a show that year. So when I did that cover and it came out, it just elevated
everything.
The whole body of work that I was doing. Yeah, Hypebeast picked it up and they were talking about it. So it was a crazy cosign. And but nobody really, at the time, I didn't have that big of an IG following. I didn't have an IG following. I probably had like 10,000 followers. So very few people. Right. So when they saw my Third Eye series, a lot of people thought I was biting Wes. They just thought that I was. They
didn't realize that you're.
Yeah, I would get a lot of people in my comments being like, "Damn, this shit looks like West Side Gun shit," or "This motherfucker's
like I'm the one who painted that."
And
shit,
I'm like,
fucking.
And I just like at the beginning, I'd have to like explain to people, and then I just started. Now when it still happens. Right. When it happens, I'm just like, man, shit's funny because I'm like, dude, these motherfuckers.
People are stupid, man.
They just don't know.
Yeah.
But that's why it's like, you know, my IG is fucking like from top to bottom. It's just filled with West Side shit. So I'm like, how do you not know? You know what I mean? Like, it's been 6 years now. Like, how are you not caught up? But yeah, it's funny. So, you know, a lot of people, because Wes put that shit out, a lot of people started copying it. Especially the smiley face thing. You know, I'll see a lot of people doing portraits of Wes with like a third eye, with like smiley faces and shit in the background. And it wasn't like a conscious thing. Like, I'm gonna paint third eyes and smiley faces, and that's what's gonna hit. It just just happened, you know, and people responded to it really well.
I was going to say, for you, like, I know that, you know, you just did a commission piece for Peasy, the Fat Joe piece. Like, if somebody hits you, you don't have to give us your business, but like, what's the conversation start at if they want to commission a piece with you?
Well, I mean,
let's just say it's some dude off the street who just wants you to paint.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put you on game. I mean, you know, I get hit up.
The art game is just so interesting to me because you'll hear like there's these apps, you can buy pieces of art, you can buy shares of art. Yeah. There's the gallery game. There's so many, like, it's just like, it's kind of like the music game. There's just so many different.
Yeah, I think during 2020 though, I kind of things change. I'm telling you, like, a lot of shit changed for me in 2020. Yeah. There was a lot of things that happened that elevated everything that I was doing, and I kind of beat the gallery system, especially the galleries that I was working with at the time. Up until, you know, then I had never had representation. I had exhibited my work in tons of galleries and some museums, but you know, I kind of skipped a lot of steps during that time, because when Pray for Paris came out, I had a lot of attention, having done the alternate cover that Virgil did.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you know, had their eyes on me, and I sold a lot of work by myself. You know, I never had an art dealer, never had an advisor or any type of manager or representative. So, you know, my process was very like it became on some trapping shit. You know, that's how like a lot of the shit. That's what it felt like. Like, I felt like the last 4 or 5 years, I've been trapping my shit just straight up. Like, the formula is so simple. Like, I don't even know how to explain it to people in simpler terms. You know, people think that there's some sort of crazy formula, and I'm like, nah, dude, it just sort of happened where it was it's organic. You know, when Wes hit me up, it was as simple as, yo, dude, I want to work with you. And I was a fan of him, and I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know, there was no contract, there was no business meeting. It was like, what do you want to run? You know, he sent me some images. I was like, all right, let's run this one. We did it and gave him a price, and that was it. And that's just, it's super straightforward. You know, like, so I don't do projects for just anybody.
So not anybody can just hit you?
No. Like, in the beginning, maybe, but I quickly started to realize that, you know, I had the opportunity to say no to a lot of shit, you know, in the beginning.
Because what is, like, if you say yes to something, what is the time that it takes to put one of your paintings together?
It just depends on the project. It depends on, you know, what I got going on at the time, if I'm already working on a bunch of shit.
But I'm saying, like, in terms of just, like, hours, man hours, actual painting.
I mean, you know, it depends on how big the piece is, how much detail there is. I mean, I can bust out a painting pretty quickly if I really put everything aside.
Like, let's say the Fat Joe one.
Well, Fat Joe is that's a 5x5 painting, 5 feet by 5 feet. I think I did that shit in like 30 days, like a month's time. But I was taking breaks.
You were doing other stuff.
There was stuff that was happening in between. But you know, it's like when Wes hits me up and he's like, "Yo, I need this shit by yesterday." I'm like on a 3-day timeline. Like, I got.
So you'll tweak out and just finish,
dude. Straight 12-hour days, just back to back, nonstop. Whew. Yeah, like when I did the Jordan and Virgil portrait, I did those both in like 3 days, like collectively. Like, yeah, like Virgil took me like 1 day, and then Jordan took me 2 days. But that's because I had to. I don't think it really matters how fast or long it takes for someone to create something. I could work very quickly just because I know. Like, once I start, I'm locked in. It's like a rapper. It's like, you know, when they jump into a studio, it's like they already got the material laid out. Just give them a fucking beat, and once they're in, they're in. You know what I mean? It's not like, you know. And then you got some of these artists who take, you know, a year or 2 years to make a project because they're like taking their time, they're reminiscing on it. With me, I could just jump into it. I'm already, especially when Wes hits me up, because when Wes hits me up, it's like. It's synergy, like that energy. Just I get locked into it, and then I'm already on it. You know, there's nothing that's gonna slow me down when I'm working on his projects. But I don't take on just any projects. I quickly started to say no to a lot of shit. You know, I keep the group of people that collect my shit is very tight. You know, there is a wait list. You know, there is a process, sort of an evaluation process to get my shit now.
Oh, that's sick.
You know what I mean? And
that's a good place to be in.
Yeah, it is, but you know, it all, and I get it. You know, I know everybody wants it, but that's why I started. You know, doing the prints allows people to acquire my work on a scale that's, you know, it's like not everybody's gonna afford a $30,000-$40,000 painting, but you know, the prints, it allows the work to be accessible for everybody, and that was, you know, important for me to establish, because I want everybody to have my shit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But the original shit, it's like, that's, you know, that's reserved for, you got to come, it's like you got to come correct. You know, I get a lot of people that'll hit me up and they'll assume that the work is, I mean, I really don't care what the price of shit goes for, but you know, it took me a long time to get to where I'm at, and you know, I it's hard to explain that to everybody. And then when people hit me up and they're like, oh, what's your work going for? And I'll give them a number and they're like, damn, that shit's crazy. Like, I thought, you know, I gotta wait a while. And I'm like, well, you know, it's cool that you didn't know, it's fine. But I'm like, you know, what do you expect? Like, you're hitting me up because you see that Wes fucks with me, Peasy fucks with me. I'm doing shit for fucking Benny. I'm doing shit for all these people and doing collabs with so and so. I'm like, come on, what do you expect? Like, don't, you know what I mean? That's why I got certain things pinned on my page so motherfuckers know. Like, you're not gonna go to so-and-so, you know, super established and just...
Well, yeah, you're not going to go to, like, ask Timbaland for a beat and then be surprised when he tries to hit you upside the head.
Yeah, and I'm like, I wouldn't even, you know, so... But it takes people to ask, so they know. So, you know what I mean? But that's why I'm like, you know, I don't know, people, I guess they don't really do their research. I mean, you could find the price of shit on, like, Artsy, you know, my shit's there, you know.